Actually, I hate to correct the speaker, but Teresa shouldn't be so hard on the president. You know, President Obama really has an excuse for having not read the stimulus bill that he signed. If David Axelrod had put it on the teleprompter, he would have read it. I'd like all of you to meet an exciting young man who one day is going to be a political leader in this community, political leader of the right kind. He's a Pasadena City College alumnus, currently studying comparative politics at UCLA, and he's planning a 2010 run for the California State Assembly. Alvaro Day.
Hello, dear friends. I'll start by quoting a man whose political views I've personally become very familiarized in my college experience. Someone that seems to be very well-liked right now in Washington and Sacramento. He said it this: "Take away people's roots and they can easily be moved." Who was this man? Karl Marx. This is exactly what the government intends to do. Children are being indoctrinated into believing that socialism is good. The media is mostly one-sided, and insidious apathy is becoming the norm lately, but not anymore. We are not going to forget our roots and principles. Let us send the message to all that we will not be taken for granted, that we are ready to speak up and raise our voices in protest and retake America. This is the message. We will not forget what has made this country great. And today we stand in unison against any form of tyranny and reclaim our freedoms. This afternoon, we're no longer the silent majority. We will no longer stand in silence, seeing our values being eroded. This message will resound in the hearts and minds of every good-hearted American. We, the people, will no longer tolerate a government infringing on our freedoms. We have already waited too long, but enough is enough. Progressives, communists, fascists, liberals, or otherwise known as the left, they have tried to rewrite history, always failing to acknowledge their horrendous past. They are trying to brainwash us, especially my generation, into believing that the government can do things better than us. They tell us, forget personal responsibility, forget your country, forget your civics. They invest in our indoctrination, not in our civic education. Let me give you an example of one of the great myths, among many, that the lack of funding is always a problem in education. That's what they always claim, and the unions currently are spending $5 million in Prop 1A and Prop 1B. However, in California, we spend around 30% of the budget in K-12 education, or around $40 billion. What do we get out of it? A recent study in the University of California, Santa Barbara has reported that from students in 7th grade from 2001 to 2002 that were supposed to graduate in 2007, 25% of them did not graduate. They dropped out. On the other hand, we have the private sector solution, which has very good results, but requires a lot of thousands of dollars less. So we can see the problem is not the funding, but the general incompetence of an ever-expanding government bureaucracy. Yes. Yes. In the larger scheme of things, in 2006, a National Geographic study found that nearly 2/3 of Americans ages 18 through 24 could not find the United Kingdom in a map. This is what our public education is giving us right now. Now, do you think the solution lies in raising taxes? No! Of course no. The government is more focused on controlling our lives than producing good citizens. But no more. No more mediocrity, no more lies, no more worthless spending. Those who believe this is an exaggeration, let me remind you of what one of our founding fathers and the father of our Constitution once said. There were instances of the abridgment of the freedom of the people by the gradual and silent encroachment of those in power than by violent and sudden usurpation. Medicine understood the dangers of giving too much power to government. That sometimes this power does not come in an overnight revolution, but it comes in a slow trend. So the government is taking away our freedoms, controlling our lives, raising our taxes, discouraging private enterprise, making us slaves to our creditors, indebting this generation and the next one. Oh yeah. They dare to claim that nothing bad is going to happen. Well, so now I respond to Washington and Sacramento, back off. Exactly. Our forefathers knew that freedom was worth fighting for. Some even paid the greatest sacrifice by shedding their blood in battle. Others ended up impoverished. Some so that we, the future generations, could enjoy these freedoms that we so greatly cherish right now. These freedoms are the God-given rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Today we're at the fork roads of our polity. We can either continue to slip down the path of socialism, fascism, or whatever it may be, or we can stand up and fight what we still can. So as you leave today, hopefully inspired by every one of the speakers here, remind yourself that you're not alone, that we are the majority, that we can do great things, and we can change the course of history. Complacency no more, apathy no more, fear no more. Whenever you feel frustrated, afraid to speak up, remember you're not alone. Speak up in our schools, in our communities, in our colleges, wherever it may be. Let the government know what you think. Raise your voices because there are thousands like you and me. We're committed to making this, we're not committed to making the same mistakes of history because we know history. And like Edmund Burke said, it all it takes for evil to prosper is for good people to do nothing. Thank you, and God bless America. Also, happy Easter, everybody.
Thank you, Alvaro. There's a young lady here who we like to call the Liberty Belle. She's a partner in Pop Modal, the conservative alternative to YouTube. She's already becoming a leader in what may be called the Republitarian Revolution. She's a firm defender of laissez-faire capitalism because, as she says, it's the economic system that best allows man to create trade and prosper. No, her name isn't Adam Smith. Pia Varma.
We have all come here today because we know that something is terribly wrong. I was only a child when the Berlin Wall fell. And I grew up thinking that America had become a safe and secure place. I was wrong. Today, America is facing the greatest challenge that she has ever faced. I don't think any of us know how we allowed this to happen, or what is now required of us. But we know, whatever it is, it might just be the most important thing that we have ever and will ever have to do. We are all just ordinary people. We live ordinary lives. But not today. Today is extraordinary. Today we have all become revolutionaries.